Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Noble, and today we have a special guest back again. Steve is going to be showcasing us not his Endymion this time, but his vampire deck profile. So for Halloween, I wanted to do several speaker ones. I did a poll on my community posts, and it was, pretty heavy one-sided. You guys really wanted to see vampires, and the next up behind that was Zombie World. So I only have Shiranui and my Akashi. Steve has the vampire, so he is going to be showing it for us. Go ahead, take it away, Steve.
Cool. So, y'all ready to get spooky? Anyways.
It's not a vampire best tech. Let's go.
No, because it's not pendulum.
Oh, okay.
We have to just be spooky. Or I guess we could do like the Count from Sesame Street and be like, one vampire. Ooh. That's going to take too long. We're not going to do that.
I swear you make me lose subs every time. Just kidding.
You're the one that keeps inviting me back.
That's true.
Yeah, so what we're going to go through is we've got, start off with 3 Vampire Retainer. And if you've never played Vampires before, the way that these guys work is basically if they're special summoned, I can pay 500 life points, and then they do something. So specifically, Retainer,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, they do something. Yeah, if they're special summoned, then pay 500 life points, and it allows me to pull, Retainer allows me to pull Vampire Spell or Trap from my deck. So his counterpart, though, is the Vampire Familiar.
The bats.
The bats.
Or better known as the bats.
The bats, yes. And the bats are fun with another card I'll show you later. But same thing as a Retainer. When they're special summoned, you can pay 500 life points. And then I can get a Vampire Monster from my deck to my hand.
Cool.
You can they also have a special summoning mechanic where you can discard a vampire and then special summon it to the field. So they're also pretty easy to get out to special summon. You don't have to have crazy stuff out for that.
I don't think I realized he searched like that.
Oh, yeah. So he searches monsters, Retainer searches spells and traps.
Oh, huh. You think I'd know that by now?
I know. This is the one that you do know, which is we play 3 Vampire Froline. Froline is basically one of your win conditions for this deck, really. Basically, if a monster declares an attack, and that is your opponent's monster, that's my monster, whatever.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. It's even if you do it,
yeah.
Right?
When a monster declares an attack is the trigger. You can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. And then if my zombie monster, which all of these are zombies, so that's, whatever, battles an opponent's monster, I can pay life points in multiples of 100, and then my monster gains that same amount in attack and defense.
Right.
So, you can just pump up even your bat or your Retainer or something, anything you have out on the field. I think I was beating down with the Unizombie because I was pumping him up the other day.
Yeah. Which is an insane statement.
Right, like... Yeah,
attack with Unizombie.
That's right. The only caveat is you can't pump up for direct life point attacks, so it has to be when you're battling another monster. Sure. Now you can still beat over a monster by pumping your life points up, but there is a cap on it too. It's up to 3,000. Yeah, a max of 3,000 that you can add.
Which is not a big deal in this deck, which we'll get into later.
Yep.
It's a lot easier to do it this day than the Shiranui for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, easy. So our other guy here we're going to play 2 of is our Scarlet Scourge. If he's special summoned, you can pay 1,000 life points, and then I can target a vampire monster in my graveyard and special summon it. So he allows recursion from the graveyard. He's another way that you can kind of combo in to get Retainer, to get Familiar back out. Right. And then, you have more materials on the board to go into extra deck or whatever you need.
Plus the artwork of these are phenomenal. It looks so good.
No joke, that was why I started playing Vampires, was because I was like, man, the art on these is sick.
I know.
I didn't even know how their mechanic worked. I was just like, Vampires are cool.
Budget decks that have a lot of secret rares, that's the way to my heart.
That's right.
That's why I love Fur Hires too.
Yep. Cheap, pretty looking cards.
Yep. Cheap cardboard, that's nice.
Alright, so next up we're going to play 2 of is Vampire Red Baron. This guy is cool because once per turn you can pay 1,000 life points, then target 1 monster my opponent controls and a vampire monster I control. And then I can switch control of those. Not till the end of the turn, Permanently.
That's how you hit John with... No, that was the best. But you took a BLS.
No, yeah, that was 100% what he did. But John was playing that weird BLS Chaos deck.
Yeah.
He did some crazy combo, got out Black Luster, Envoy, and I popped down Red Baron, and I traded him my bats. I was like, here.
Which is a fair trade.
Yeah,
right?
you could have this 500 attack bat, and I'll take Black Luster. Yeah. So, Baron's really good. Also, along with him and with Scourge, if they destroy any monsters when they attack, during the end phase, you also gain control of them.
Oh.
So, the big thing with this, with vampires, is it's very easy to kind of swarm the board with creatures, as well as to get into some of your linked monsters, and even Exceed. We play a bunch of Exceed monsters in this deck. So, we also play 2 Vampire Vamps. This one I'm a little unsure of the ratio. I might go down to 1 on this so I can just search her with the familiars. But she's pretty cool. Basically, once per turn, when you normal summon, that's important. When Vampire Vamp is normal summoned or a vampire monster is normal summoned, I can target a face-up monster my opponent controls whose attack is higher than this card, and it equips to it.
Right. That's the problematic one. I remember that.
Yep.
And plus, you get extra normal summons in this deck.
Yeah, one of the spells allows us to get extra normal summons, so it's really not that hard to get out. But she can be kind of a brick in your hand. That's why I'm kind of thinking of maybe cutting it down to 1. I've just been playing with the ratios on this quite a bit. And then if the card is sent to the graveyard while it has an equipped card, it comes back. It special summons itself back out.
Cool.
The only thing is it is targeting. So, if you have something that's immune to being targeted, she can't, suck that up. And equip to herself.
Cool.
We play 1 of Shadow Vampire. So he's a level 5. And what's nice about him is he has some dumb requirement about XYZ summoning except for dark monsters, which, all our zombie extra deck monsters basically are, yeah. But when he's normal summoned, I can special summon 1 dark vampire monster from my hand or deck. Let's see. That's this one. That's this one. That's this one. That's this one. That's
basically
this one.
all of them. Right?
It is literally all of them. They are all dark monsters.
Wow.
So he's a great utility card because you can get him out really easy, especially since we get a bonus normal summon if you get Vampire's Domain out on the field, and then he basically allows you to search your deck for any vampire you want.
That's helpful.
Yep, he does limit who can attack though, because I think what it is after he does that, only this card that was special summoned can attack.
Right.
So you can't jump him, but
that's fair.
Still good for getting resources.
That's fair, right?
And the card that I was mentioning before, this is Vampire's Domain. This is our continuous spell, and it is awesome. So once per turn, you can pay 500 life points, and then you just get an extra normal summon of a vampire monster, right? But that's not a problem,
right?
With the ratios that we're running. In addition to that, so we get 1 additional normal summon, but each time our vampire monster inflicts battle damage to our opponent, we gain that same amount of life points. So even though I'm paying life points for a lot of these effects, 1,000, 1,000, 500, 500, it doesn't matter because any battle damage I'm dealing, I gain back in life points.
Right, exactly. Which makes this deck so dangerous is because it doesn't matter if you pay those life point costs to gain that advantage.
Yeah, I mean, we were playing a couple weeks ago, and I had something stupid 15,000 life points or something.
And I remember I attacked you a ton with a full board, and then you still had 9,000 left.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And you'll see, we play a zombie package too, so we've got a bit of recursion. So this isn't necessarily an OTK deck, right? This is more of a control format. You want to try and lock your opponent down and then basically win out in the resource battle, which is very easy to do with how you can recur your vampires, you can recur your zombies, and then of course just gain life points to add as a buffer.
Cool. I hate that too.
Yeah. You want we play that 3 of because for sure you want to see domain in your.
Because I know when I play against this deck, if I see that, I'm trying to pop it as soon as I can.
Instantly, yeah.
Yeah, because that allows you to do way more things.
But then you just special summon Retainer and then you get another one. It's fine. Not big deal.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
The other vampire spell traps that we play is Vampire Domination. It is basically Omnigate. Yeah, when a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated while I control a vampire. Oh no. That's pretty easy to do. Negate the activation, and if I do, destroy that card. So it negates and destroys. And if it was a monster card, then I gain the life points equal to its attack. So Yeah,
I hate that card, and you never have problems running this at 2. You literally always have it, if not turn 1, turn 2, almost always.
Yeah, because basically what I want to do is I want to hard draw into desires,
right,
or to domain, and then usually I'll use retainer to search out domination,
right,
because I can play domain, which gets me my extra normal summon that allows me to combo into some things. Domination, though, is where I want to end my turn. I just want to set and pass.
Yeah.
After I have my board.
Yeah.
I don't want to just set and pass.
I literally play, like, I draw thinking, okay, well, I know he has domination, so...
Yeah, I mean, this is by no means, meta competitive. I'm not throwing out, like, 4 or 5 negates on the board, but having an Omni negate is always handy, so, right?
Yeah, for sure, especially for road decks.
Oh, yeah. So next up, we're going a more traditional zombie package that helps build out our vampire deck and allows us to kind of link climb and get into different things. Yeah, Shiranui Solitaire, which was just in your last video that you were doing for Spooky Zombies. So he allows you to special summon 1 zombie tuner from your deck, which is great. You basically summon him and then tribute him, and then you can summon out this guy, Unizombie, who happens to be a zombie tuner.
Right.
It's typically how you go. The great thing about Unizombie is he's got 2 effects, right? So he lets you take a hand. You can take something from your hand and discard it to the graveyard, which I want things in the graveyard because I want, familiar. I want retainer. I want other zombies in the graveyard that I'll get to in a second, as well as he also allows you to send from your deck to the graveyard. So you basically get to dump 2 monsters in the graveyard for free with Unizombie.
Wow.
And then by the end of that, if you target him, he's also then a level 5, which helps us get into some of our Exceed plays later on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Unizombie is staple in every zombie deck.
Yeah, for
sure.
I don't think I've seen a zombie deck not running 3 units.
Oh, yeah. So next, in conjunction with our Unizombie, we're running 3 Necro World Banshees. And that's because what I want to do is I want to either send her if I don't have a zombie world on the field, because then I can take her and banish her from my field or graveyard, which if she's in my dumped in my graveyard, I can basically activate zombie world directly from my hand or deck. So
really helps the consistency of
right, because our other control mechanic in this, of course, is that we're playing the big guy, Doom King Balderrock. We're playing 2 of him, and he's just dumb. Like, if you have zombie world out on the field, during your opponent's standby phase, he comes back.
Right.
So, like, even if I summon this guy out, I can link him off. I don't care, because at the start of your next turn, he's going to come back.
You're getting it back, right?
But then also, when he comes back, if a zombie monster activates an effect, which everything's a zombie monster if you have zombie world on the field.
Right.
So when your opponent's monster activates the effect, then you can negate it, or you can just banish 1 monster from the field or graveyard.
Right.
So
that's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And like in my Shiranui one, I was running 2 Baylor Drogs, and the reasoning was, and I'm assuming your reasoning is, because if your opponent outs it, you still want another.
Yeah,
right?
This was something that we played with. I had him at 1 when we were playing, and there were too many instances because this deck is not trying to win first turn, second turn, like where I wanted a second one to be able to get out because you were doing crazy stuff. I think you had him banished at one point.
Yeah, I was playing Magical Muskets.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So you had him banished. So I've got him at a 2 of right now. Mm-hmm. It's nice because you can there's some mechanics where you can special summon him from the hand, but it's tricky. Like, really what you want is you want to dump him into your graveyard. Right. So the last monster that we're playing in this deck, in the main deck at least, is Glow Up Bloom, playing 1 of, and mostly because I can search it with Unizombie is one of the things that I send. It goes to the graveyard, and then you banish it, and you can special summon from your deck. So typical play would be if I've got Zombie World on the field, I take Unizombie, right? And I send this from my from my deck to the graveyard. I banish this, and then boom, Balderrock's on the field from my deck. He doesn't even need to be in my hand. So yeah, Glow Up Bloom for sure. Right. And it's so easily searchable. That's why I've got it at 1. 3 ofs for all the spells and traps that we're playing with our zombie package are pretty straightforward. We're playing 3 Zombie World.
Right. I mean, who saw that coming?
Right. Mostly because if I see this in my opening hand, it's 1 less resource I have to use to try and pull it out of the deck from somewhere. Right. So I like to see it in my opening hand, which is fine.
You're not running Terraforming, are you?
I am not running
because you're running Necro Banshee, so it's
like basically I'm running 6 zombie worlds at this point. So I'm running 3 banshees and 3 zombie worlds. Right. So terraforming seemed overkill.
Yep, I agree.
All right, and then the last card we play is Rivalry of the Warlords.
Oh, I forgot you played that. Oh my god.
This helps our control strategy.
Yeah.
Because you have Zombie World on the field, so everything's a zombie, including your opponent's monster, and they can only control one type of monster.
Gosh.
Meaning, unless they're playing a zombie deck, they can't summon anything else out to the field. They get one monster. That's it.
That shut me down. I remember you pulled that. I don't remember what I was playing, but I remember that was it. I didn't have an out to that.
Yep. It's not fun when you run up against Zombie World Rivalry of the Warlords.
No, that's not fun. Okay, so because I know people are going to ask, you don't run Allure, right?
I do not.
Okay.
So now the reason why, and I'll show you in the extra deck, is because you might notice we don't have a lot of card draw in the main deck.
Right.
And the reason is because we don't need it.
Yeah.
Honestly, because we play 3 of these.
Vampire Sucker.
So Vampire Sucker, right? So anytime a zombie monster is special summoned, which we're doing all the time.
Literally all the time.
Including on your opponent's turn, special summoning Balrog from the graveyard during the standby phase when Sucker's on the field means more card draw.
Yep.
So, I feel like there's enough card draw power without having to risk banishing some of my materials with something like Allure.
Right.
Maybe you could probably use Pot of Extravagance because, if you've got those floating around, because it's not super heavy reliant on the extra deck.
Right.
It's mostly tech stuff that we have in here. Really, the only thing we for sure need out of the extra deck is Vampire Sucker.
Yeah, and that or Vendread.
Well, and that's why we play this guy, yeah. Next, we play Vendread Savior, and what he does is he just basically helps us out big boss monsters, right? Because, during damage calculation, if he battles an opponent's monster, I can send a zombie monster from my deck to the graveyard, and then the opponent's monster loses his attack equal to that level. So typically what you'd want to do is he's another way that I can dump Doom King into my graveyard, because I can go into Vendread, attack, dump Doom King. Yeah. He's in my graveyard, and then, go on my way.
He's a better Foolish Burial.
Yeah, basically that's it. He gives me Foolish Burial and a monster. So what we do with our other extra deck slots here is we play, of course, on theme, we play our vampires, right? Mm-hmm. Dampier, Vampire? I don't know, Sheridan.
I don't know.
You need 2 level 6.
No one's asking me how to enunciate.
So, basically once per turn you can detach a monster, or you can detach a material from this card, then target 1 card my opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. So, notice he says it doesn't destroy. He does target, right? Okay. So he does target, but
he can't get past like Avermax or something.
Right, because he does have to target, but he doesn't destroy. He just sends to the graveyard, which is still handy.
Yeah, that is. No, that can get past quite a bit of protection.
And then if something's sent to the graveyard, up to my opponent's graveyard by a card effect, or is destroyed by battle, I can attach a material, special summon one of those monsters. So he basically, sucks them back up.
Right.
So super handy. And then we play Braum, who's our level 5.
I love his artwork.
I know.
Oh my gosh, he looks so good.
His artwork's way better than his actual
he's
effect.
the annoying one that constantly comes back.
Yeah, so he basically just helps you slow the game down. Especially with, he's handy, and why I like having him is because he's level 5, which I can get into easy if I have Unizombie, right? Unizombie's going to be a level 5 by the time I've used both of his triggers.
Right.
What he does is once per turn during the standby phase of the next turn, after this card was destroyed, he special summon him back in defense. So once he's out on the board, he just keeps coming back as long as he's being destroyed by my opponent's card.
Yeah. That was annoying, because I kept thinking, okay, well, I have to get past him next turn. If I didn't have, Magical Blessings don't have really strong monsters in their decks. I remember thinking, okay, I have to get past him. That was just something more annoying that I had to deal with, too.
Yeah, he also steals from the graveyard, similar to Sheridan. You can discard a material, and he can suck up something from the graveyard to special summon on your side.
Your deck wills to do that.
Yep, it does. Vampire, that's the whole thing. Vampires take
suck, huh?
your dead people, they join their side.
Yep.
So, Braum. The last 2 that we've got in here, I don't go into too often, but they're kind of nice to have. Beatrice is a level 6, always good for card draw.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Pretty standard there. And then number 24, Dragulas, the vampiric dragon. Vampire. See, we're still on theme. You can detach an XYZ material from him, then target a face-up monster on the field. that was summoned from the extra deck, change it to face down defense position, so basically he can book a moon something. And then if it's sent to the graveyard or banished by an opponent's card effect, then I can special summon him back to the field.
Oh, cool.
In face down defense position. And then he has a flip effect too. If he's flipped face up, then I send one card on the field to the graveyard. So he does some weird stuff. I don't go into him too often, just because he's pretty.
He looks cool.
I mean, he does look cool. And honestly, that's what this deck is about. Is
cool, looking cool
looking vampires. I mean,
right?
Come on, where is he? Look at this guy. Look at this cape. Come on.
Scarlet Scourge is pretty awesome. They all are pretty amazing looking. Wow. Ah, so that's your vampire deck profile.
Yeah, so this is one I play mostly for fun. So it's probably not optimized the best it could be. For sure, it's one of my more casual decks, but it is always fun to play.
Yeah, I was like, you have fun playing it. That's
all
that matters.
It is fun, and whenever I play this deck, I always put up the spooky playlist on Spotify.
That's true. Gotta set the theme.
Yeah, that's right. You need the mood. You need the spooky music for the vampires. So,
well, thank you, Steve, for showing us this and showcasing your vampire deck profile, guys. If you're here and you haven't already done so, and Steve's corner jokes at the beginning didn't turn you away from this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell to become a part of the notification team, so you don't miss anything that goes on this channel. And if you like this video, like Steve's breakdown of it, very in-depth breakdown, thank you so much. Hit the thumbs up button. That allows my videos to circulate around YouTube quite a bit more, and I would greatly appreciate that. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Say bye, Steve.
Later.